Hello and welcome to Life with Francie podcast, a place where you will find all kinds of conversation like mental health, self-love, self-care, trauma, hobbies, and more. With this podcast, I want to create a place where we support one another in business and personal life. Hope you enjoy this episode. Now, let's get the show started. Well, I have said that 3 times today. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. This podcast episode is so late. Like I try to post mine Mondays and Wednesdays at 5 o'clock a.m. and then like around 8 a.m. on YouTube. I haven't found a good time to post my videos on YouTube and I'm not consistent as I am with the podcast, but I'm getting better as I schedule all the episodes for April. So stay tuned. I have some amazing conversations for the month of April. And today I started working on May. So I'm excited about that. I got to get that together because I'm working on my Patreon, which I have to post. I haven't posted in like over a week, I think, and it's hard. I'm everywhere. I'm doing too much, so I have to bring it down. So I love having my podcast, YouTube, and content for social media schedule a month ahead of time so I can focus on other things. So virtual assistant got the journaling, the journal in digital form. So we're about to post it. We haven't posted yet. We're working on the website. So everything is a lot of work behind the scenes. Oh my goodness. I mean, I know that they say it's a lot of work, but you don't get it till you're actually doing it. And so I was trying to print it through Amazon KDP, but that was like really hard and complicated and not for the setup that I wanted to. So then I was doing to print it out on my own, but right now that's really not a reality because I do work for the post office. Like I said, I am a mail lady during the day and a podcaster at night. So that's a lot. And I have a poly relationship. So there's a lot going on at all times. So it's not realistic. That's the word that I was looking for. Realistic for me to start printing out my own journals and chipping them out. So I turn it into a digital form and I can't wait to launch it. So stay tuned. That's just something that helped me through it's not something like I created or whatever like that. It's just I had a notebook and that was my setup of 3 things that is important for me because we have a huge to-do list and we always feel like so bad when we put so many things in our to-do list, but we get 2 done or 5 done and you're like, oh my gosh, I had 100 things to do. So I just want to focus on 3 things each day, and then something that I'm grateful for, something that I dream, something that I'm proud of. Proud is one that it was super hard for me for the longest time, and some days I have days that I'm like, I don't know what I'm proud of for me today, but I'm working on it. And then a prayer, but you can put it like a positive thought or a quote or anything that you want to put there. But it's just a prayer to how you end up your day or how you want to start your day. So yeah, it's a 90-day ultimate journal. So I can't wait to finally launch it. So that's what I'm working on behind the scenes. Oh yeah, on this solo episode. On this solo episode is my March review. So last year I did my first month review, my second month review, and I just thought I would keep it this year. So far, I love it because then I give you an update on how the podcast went, how I'm doing, and it's like a journaling day, a journaling prompt for me, that I can go back and listen to and be like, oh my gosh, I came so far. Like the first one, I couldn't believe that I did 12 episodes on my own and I had gotten so much love and support from my family and my friends. And now I'm over here uh telling you I'm about to launch my journal, my digital journal. So it's just like crazy. I never thought that this could happen. Another thing that happened in March um is I finally I didn't want to say goodbye, but I said goodbye to Portia. Not forever, but at least as the one-on-one that had turned over into her inner circle, and she was teaching me about business, and I loved it because had taken a break from trauma work, because I don't, nope, I am not healed, it's not like that. Healing is a journey, but I feel like I'm in a good journey in my healing right now, and I'm enjoying it. And I still have contacts with her, and I love her program. She has a lot of micro retreats and huge retreats coming this year. She's going to take her brand globally, and I am so excited for her. I wish her nothing but the best, and I will always be grateful for the time that I had with her. As she, like, when I met her, I was breaking down, like, literally, like, every hour on the hour. I had a breakdown for anything, either something a coworker said, or something my family said, something that happened in my relationship, all the chaos and everything. So I was having a lot of breakdowns and panic attacks. And now is like I celebrated a year of not having a panic attack, and then I had a panic attack. But the point is that I'm not having daily breakdowns. And at this moment, this week, I'm getting to enjoy peace, and that there's no drama in my life. And it's crazy, there's still chaos, there's still things going on, but compared to other years, my life is amazing, and it's like the life that I dreamt of for the longest time when it comes to my personal life. But it was hard to take it in at first because it's not the version that I wanted. So, but then you put it all together and you're like, oh, the connection that we have, this is so unique. And now I understand one of my coworkers that she's always talking about her family and her structure. And our structures are totally different. We're different women, but similar in so many ways, because now I'm the one that wants to be at home and wants to be with my family. Like right now, I'm like, let me hurry up and record this episode real quick and head down to their place and go do my grown up stuff, like having a car oil change, and then we're gonna go birthday present, and then grocery shopping, and then go home and get ready for a fun evening. As one of the kids is going from 6 years old to 7 year old, and I'm so excited. So, anyways, so I just love that. I'm in a different journey, and she has helped me out a lot to accept the choices that I have made for my life and the people that I choose to love, and help them see in a different way, as well as having a conversation to explain to them when I get triggered because of my trauma, and explain to them the process, as they're really not into self development or working through their trauma. And here I am, so that I talk about, but now I can have the communication skills, the understanding. I don't know, I can communicate better, explaining to them instead of getting triggered, going into anger. Now we all fighting, and it's all because we got triggered. And when the three of us have gotten so much hurt that we get triggered all the time. So it's just on how you react to it. And I'm glad that she helped me through my emotions. She learned me, she taught me. Oh, she taught me on how to be back in my body, and do the express my feelings and things like that, that sadly nobody had taught me when I was growing up. And then she helped me get rid of my shame and guilt for my trauma. And I never thought that that could be possible. I just love that. And yeah, so all like that is awesome and everything, but financially was not a smart decision on my part as I am working on my business and bringing more things in to offer to my listeners and my Patreon community. So it was better. So I don't want to let go of my virtual assistant. So it was between my virtual assistant and my mentor had to go when it comes to financial thing, but she got like some things coming up that I can't talk about, but you can go and check her out on her website. And I can't wait to go. She has a lot of micro retreats in Las Vegas, so I can't wait and go check it out. So the connection is always for there, like nothing bad happened. It's just really financially I'm not on the overtime desire list. Like I do this to myself every single time. I have worked for the post office for 17 years, 16 of them as a career employee. One of them doesn't count, but I always mention that year because it's important. I sacrificed a year of my life. Anyways, I can't believe it's almost 2 decades of working for this corporation. And I still like feel kind of the same, like mentally, like I'm still young at heart. I don't know. I'm sorry. I know I'm 35, but I don't know how to act like a 35-year-old. Uh and then where was I going with that one? Anyways, um oh yeah, now I remember. um Depending on overtime, so for 17 years I have worked for the post office and I have worked a lot of overtime, and I'm like, I'm gonna use it for savings, I'm not gonna depend on the overtime. Well, next thing you know, I had a lake lot, new car, new stuff for the house, and I was in more debt. So instead of paying off my car and then trading in, I trade my car a year early. So I added to the loan plus 8% interest, which it was amazing because I was paying 19% on my Kia. So it's a lot of work for somebody that messes up their credit. And then I got my car, and now I'm like, okay, too many bills and too many things going on to keep me in the overtime desire list. So last year I tried to do less overtime and I ended up doing more overtime. This year I'm trying not to be on the overtime desire list, but I did 2 vacations back to back and I learned that that's a no-no because I went to Puerto Rico and then I went to Arizona, and both of them was a lot of money. And I usually plan my um, vacations 2 to 3 months in advance. One, because the tickets are like a lot cheaper if you pay attention to the different days or whatever, you can get a good deal. And when I go to Puerto Rico, I can't go like I can be, in 2 weeks I'm going to Puerto Rico. That's gonna cost me like $1,500 instead of like planning it ahead and costing me $500 to $600 or 400 if I really get a good deal. If I go to San Juan, not Aguadilla, I go to Aguadilla because my town is closer in the west side. So yeah, so I'm trying to cut down and really not be on the overtime desire list. So I it's a tough season. I'm trying to recover. So I put my name on it. And then I did white out, and it was so funny because I was waiting to see which one of my coworkers was gonna say something, and one of them was like straight up, you already got off the list. He was my T6 before. That's the person that takes care of your route. And he's always in my business, but we always joke around. And I was like, yeah, man, it's time. Like I did whiteout, like it never happened. And he's like, well, it did. Come on, you weak. They start teasing you. And I'm like, nah, man, I like 1 hour overtime or 4 hours overtime. I think I'm gonna stick to 1 hour to an hour and a half, 2 hours when it's like really, really tough. So I can't complain. It's a good office, but just nobody want to work for the post office. And it's like, come on, it's not that bad. Come and help us. It doesn't matter the state or even, I think it's Guam, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico. You can work there because it's Puerto Rican United States territory. But anyways, let's get back to podcast review. And this month I had an amazing conversation with Emily Rochelle. She's a mom, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, podcast host, and leader of Retreat. It was a really fun conversation. She talks about her country life and then being a teacher and now being an entrepreneur. And I just love that. Gives me hope as somebody that is working for a corporation and really want to do this full time. And then I had a conversation with Anne Bland where I got triggered because I talked a little bit about my trauma story. And you can see in the video how I soothe myself as I'm having this conversation. And she was a tantric sex and relationship coach and a public speaker, co-creator of Selfishly Happy World. So she just wants people to be back in their body in embodiment, and then being in pleasure and happiness and just finding joy, but as well as being sensual and things. So it was a really fun conversation. And I really want to find more guests like that. So, and then my promo for a woman in podcasting, I do not get any um money from it or anything like that, but I just love that community so much. I love everything that Jennifer Hensel has to offer for podcast hosts as well as podcast guests to share the expertise. And I have the event of Power Networking for Podcasters that have switched from Thursdays at 6 p.m. uh, every third Thursday. Now it's going to be every third Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. So I'm excited about that. As the mail lady, it's rough and during the week it's like really hard. So Sunday is my day where I really get to relax and do whatever I have to do online, and it's more stability on Sundays than any day of the week. So we had to switch it because it Thursdays were coming a little bit hard. And I do that with Haiti de la Cruz, the podcast host from The American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants. And you can check out my story on April 4th. It was going to be on her podcast, and I'm so excited. We did a collaboration. Her podcast interview was like in November, and it's Life with Haiti de la Cruz. She has a YouTube channel. She writes poetry. She is trying to help writers to get their message out there. I mean, she's just amazing. And we're going to work on a Spanish podcast together. So it's so, I just can't believe like I'm here just because I decided to hit record over a year ago to have my own podcast. Then I did because of the Anne Bland interview, I chose to go deeper and I share more about my trauma story that I had not done in the podcast, but I had done in other podcasts. I always talk in codes because the topic is really hard. And so I did another podcast episode to go deeper into that topic, and it's ran about poly life because of the trophy husband that triggered me. So I went on about my beliefs and my the way I see life, so don't don't judge me, I won't judge you. And then a little bit about my trauma story. So ran about poly life and a little bit about my trauma story. That's how the podcast episode is called. And then I had an amazing conversation with Daniel McQueen, a motivational speaker. He suffered from a brain injury and brain surgery. He had a brain surgery, and now he's teaching people like a different perspective of on life because of his life experience. And that was a really deep conversation. I really liked having him on the podcast. And then Mary Henderson, it was a personal branding and online business specialist. I love her personality and the tips that she had to. I'm trying to bring more business related topic because I know that that is helpful and trending, and so I want to bring you tools, resources, and tips for anything mental health related. But if I can help you in the business side, I will do so as well, because I know a lot of people are struggling out there trying to make their own dreams come true. Just like I am, I'm not there yet. I'm still I just freaking lost the anchor ad. That's another a freaking update. But the last one is James Stamatelos, who is a relationship coach, and he was my last podcast interview for March. And it was a good month. I am so excited for the guests that I had. I'm working better and getting more niche on the people, more picky on the people that I'm trying to bring to the podcast. But some of them come from um Podmatch, and I'm having a hard time finding more of mental health related guests through Podmatch. But I love that community because you can find people from all over the place, all over the world, and expertise on everything. And I just love to know, what is life with them? What do what do they what motivates them? What helped them through the struggles, things like that, and hopes that it will help somebody else. Then things that I have coming up in April is a great conversation with Marisa, who I met through Her Majesty retreat. And we share similarities on our trauma stories. We don't go into details on that one, but we really had a good conversation and talked a little bit about that Her Majesty retreat, more of the feelings, because we signed a contract that we can't say what the retreat does or whatever, but we did share our experiences, our feelings, and how amazing it is to be in the presence of like Portia and her knowledge and her wisdom and her understanding and non-judgmental environment, that we can feel safe to share about our traumas and do the inner child work that we need to do to accomplish the things that we need to do. uh, Kareen, I forgot to write her last name, and she hails parentpreneur. I love that she has the parentpreneur. That was very funny, and she talks, helping parents do their own thing in social media, online business, to have their own income, because it's hard. I can't imagine, like I told my friend, especially my work wife, like it's hard to be a parent and have a job that expects you to work 8 to 12 hours. Like, how do you do that as a parent? Like, if you don't have a good community, some of them have to leave their jobs and go home. So she helps parents to be entrepreneurs if that's what their vision is. And then thanks to Jessica Connolly, I got in contact with Dawn Downey, and she's amazing. She's a sweetheart, and it's another writer that I met through the writers meetup in 2019. That was pretty cool. I I she is uh I want to say poetry writer, but I'm not sure. She writes a lot of essays and stuff around trauma as well. And it was a fun conversation. She's a sweet lady. And Starlight. Oh my gosh, Starlight was a fun conversation. So you better check it out in April. I met her through Women in Podcasting Community in my Power Networking for Podcasters event every third Sunday now. And she's a fun guest. She's living in some islands off of Panama, and she just talked about her life and how she's helping others build strong communities. So I really enjoyed that one. And then patrons, my Patreon is getting some views, so I'm excited about that. I'm getting traffic through Patreon and then from me posting on social media about my Patreon. So I'm excited about that. As of right now, I got some giveaways and things like that mentioned in there, but you have to be part of my community to know what those are. And then I'm excited for the plans that I have in it. It's just that posting, I'm trying to do 2 to 3 posts a week between announcing podcast episode and announcing things that I am working behind the scenes. Like I'm about to, for my platinum members, they will get the PDA, no, PDA is another thing, PDF of the journals, so like things like that that I published. um my platinum members, they will get it just for being part of my community. And then just I got a lot of things planned. It's just finding the time to do it. I'm having a hard time with that one. But yeah. So let me see what else. Oh yeah, I'm bringing my first workshop for. I got my notes right next to me. um, I have a workshop for journaling April 16 at 8 p.m. Central Time. And that Sunday, we're just going to sit down and talk about journaling, how much it has helped me, the benefits of journaling, and as well as journal on how to get rid of negative thoughts. So come and check it out. I am very excited. I will have our own workbook and on stuff for it. So I feel all fancy now. My virtual assistant helped me create it. And I just want to bring stuff like that to help out and start the conversation, especially because journaling has helped me a lot in my healing process. So yeah, I'm trying to bring more things like that for my Patreon community. And if you don't want to start a new subscription or a new go to a different app or things like that, send me a message and I will still send you the link for my Zoom meetup. I send you the information. So yeah, some more things like that coming up. I would like to bring 2 or 3 workshops a month, either me hosting them or having guests that have been on the podcast do the workshop. So I'm trying to bring that in. So stay tuned, more things coming up. My Patreon is a new community. So give me some time until I get it all figured out behind the scenes. So in March, I recorded 7 9 interviews today because I did 2 before this one. So I'm excited about that, getting to meet new people. That's how I'm creating my network. And now I can go back through my podcast guest list and bring them back in my Patreon community, especially if they have really cool tips and resources to share for you guys. So stay tuned for more. I did a podcast guest appearance in a famous interview with Joe Dimino, and he is a local podcaster as well. So that was fun. It was different. It was super fast and super short. So go check it out. And Jessica Connolly, another writer that I had on the podcast, Life with Jessica Connolly is the episode. She was a guest as well. So look for her episode as well. And yeah, so uh another thing that's sad that happened, it was Anchor. They changed the requirements for their Anchor ad, their ambassador ad. And now because they're switched with Spotify or whatever, we have to switch that ad, but now the requirement is 100 subscribers. So excuse me, and I have 27 on Spotify. Thank you so much for following. So please hit the follow button if you're on Spotify, because that will help me get my anchor, well, my ad again. Those pennies counted. I got the I cash out the money, and I got $41. Woo woo for my first year of podcasting. So I'm excited, and that helps out any podcaster, YouTube person, channel. It helps them to help get sponsors. So please like and subscribe and follow depending on the app that you're using. If it's Google app podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify, YouTube channel, and social media, that just helps other people that want to sponsor you give an idea or have how big is their audience, and that's how the ads come out. So I want to have ads on my podcast because I want to monetize it that way. And then the on YouTube is a lot less ads, because I just like I don't like to go in the middle of the interview, like have an ad, or like beginning of the interview. I have found like a last advertisement at the end. It's a little bit better, like with my Podmatch guest. I have a ad on the podcast before it starts, but then on the interview I don't do editing, so everything is like whatever I record, it is right there. So um I will do a little bit of a note like, hey, so this podcast guest was from Podmatch, go and check out their community and whatever, just to let them know. And all the links that I mentioned is always on the description of the episode. Well, Podmatch, even though I have an ad for them, they're not sponsoring my podcast. It's just that it's an affiliate business, and that's why I did an ad for it for my podcast, and that's why I mentioned it on YouTube. But then Anchor was giving me a penny for every time that my podcast was listened to. So, I got to 4,000 downloads, and that's how I was able to make $40 in my first year. Whoop, whoop. So then other sponsors, as many subscribers as one has, that's how more sponsorships come. And then I want to have my Patreon community where I give you deals on the affiliate businesses that I have, but my content will not have like the ads, so it's more, and we'll have events and things like that, so to create a strong community of people supporting one another. And yeah, so that helps. So please like and subscribe. I love all of you guys. Like I said, I have 27 followers on Spotify. Thank you for that support. I have 38 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Like, I can't believe that. I started from 0, and posting audiograms at the beginning. And then when I started doing podcast interviews, I was like, well, I really don't want them to go to waste. So why not post them on YouTube? And now, after months and months, I finally did the video version so you guys can see me on Spotify as well. So yeah, it's getting harder, like especially to record solo episodes. Like I said, this one is like super late. It's 10:30 a.m. and I probably won't have it uploaded till like 2 or 3 p.m. because I have to go and do some grown-up shit before I can upload it. So thank you for holding. I'm sorry. I'm trying. Like I said, I'm very consistent with my podcast, but the solo episodes, like I pre-record the guest interviews. So it's really easy to just schedule and forget about it. But then the solo episode, especially for the monthly review, I will have to do it very close to the end of the month. And I used to do it like at the 31st or the first to be closer, but I was like, it doesn't matter. Like the data is there and I don't share my data anymore. Um, Besides this, to remind you guys to like subscribe and follow wherever you are so I can get my ad again. And then on Facebook, I have 595 followers, Instagram 369. I'm so excited. My Instagram is mostly um my virtual assistant posting it because I hate Instagram. But I be in the DMs though. I love to interact with people and now engaging through comments. So I'm getting to know a lot of people through doing that. And TikTok 234 is still slow, but I don't do anything trending. I just use it mostly to advertise my podcast. And then sometimes you will have a random mail lady video or something with tips or anything like that. So I really don't work TikTok. Like I said, I just use it mostly for marketing. The group 151 people in my Facebook group, Life with Francie. So you can check that out if you don't want to check out my Patreon. Like I will publish something on Patreon and share it directly to my group on Facebook. So yeah, I appreciate you guys to being part of my community, and it's definitely what keeps me going, the love and support. And I hope to bring more exciting things. My virtual assistant is working on amazing things behind the scenes. So the website and journals will be coming soon. And yeah, I think that's about it. uh let's talk about it. Like, let's have a conversation. How you're doing? Where are you listening to from? What would you like for my podcast to bring, the topics that you would like me to talk about? And what would you like to know more about my life, and who would you like to see? So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like and subscribe, follow, do your thing. You can find my podcast in all major platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. Did I say Google Podcast? Anyways, and YouTube channel. Anyways, hope you have a blessed day.